Are you looking for a miracle in life? Do you understand the universal laws? Join us for this amazing conversation on all things energy. Welcome to All Things Energy. My name is Heather. I'm an Oracle card reader, and I would like to introduce you to Dana Jensen, who is a fabulous psychic medium, and so much more. And today we're doing part 2 of Understanding Universal Laws. Welcome, Dana.
Hello, Heather. Good morning. Good morning, everybody who's watching. I just want to make sure that we are going live. We are so excited about this show today. I am anyway. So we hope you are as well. So very interesting. We've had these wonderful conversations about the law of attraction and the law of natural laws. And I think we just wanted to kind of continue along the path of, going through some of the natural laws, going through some of the ones that, will help you to live a very magical life and creating so many miracles in your days. So we hope you stick to the end of this. And of course, we'll have some special tidbits along the way. And so I don't know, maybe we should just kind of like dive into it. Oh, I wanted to mention something about yesterday's show too with Paul. There was a couple of comments about how do we maintain the connection with our guides, and how do we know when they're around us, and how do we receive it and know that we receive it. It is the knowing that is something that's important as well. So I think probably we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about that. So we'll let you know when that's going to happen, but it'll be absolutely amazing. We do want to give you real good, solid information on how to do this and how you can feel really comfortable knowing that you're walking down this path. You are definitely guided by something, whether it be yourself, your self-consciousness, or people walking with you. So we really want everybody to tell us everything that's going on with them, share your experiences. If you've had the experience, it is very likely somebody else has had a very similar or same experience, and it's great when we can have validation like that. So don't forget to leave your comments. That's all I can say about that. So Heather, why don't we, do you have a card to pull though? Did you pull one before, or we just, yes? Okay, good.
I pulled one earlier. Yeah, and it's igniting courage. I am strong, valiant, and courageous. So that's how we're going to be starting off this show.
Isn't that amazing? I think that's fantastic. Yes, that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay, so wonderful. Why don't we step into the next natural law that we had? Because I think we ended somewhere, but maybe you can pick it up because I know you have the list there.
Yes, we ended with the law of cause and effect. So do you recall? Okay. So the next one is the law of compensation.
Oh, the law of compensation. So, I think this has a lot to do with receiving, giving and receiving. And, quite often people will give you gifts and you'll be sitting there going, gifts, really? Do I really need this, dancing doll that's going to sit on my car hood or what have you? So it's also about being able to receive whatever it is. If anybody gives you anything, you just take it and say, thank you very much, because what's going to happen down the road is somebody's going to need that. Somebody's going to be able to utilize that, and you can re-gift it. So that's the best part about receiving. And, that's what it's about. It's about, money comes in one hand, it goes out the other hand, because that's exactly what it's designed to do. So, you can see more money coming into your hand, but if you don't want to release as much money, then you do it in a different way, and you give in other ways, you trade in other ways. And I think that's what the law of compensation is. It's always coming, but it's always going. And it's not negative. It's not positive. I am abundant and I have enough. Money comes easily and frequently. And I heard that somewhere, and I retain little lines like that, and I remember it being, it's so true. And if you notice it and you feel it and you are that, it's like, oh, look at that. Look at what showed up. Nice. Gotta like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the law of compensation is. And how do you feel about it? It's always about how you feel about it, no matter what. In the end, it's the feeling that comes with it. So I hope that gives a little bit of explanation of that. Always look more into these things, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked what you said, that you received something and you're not totally sure why you received it. But as you say, you can receive it gracefully.
Gracefully.
But yeah. And I thought that was very interesting what you said, that you could then pass it on to someone later on. How can I say? I've never really done that, because I always cherish whatever someone has given me and I hold on to it. And I have a special area, it's kind of expanding actually, which is really quite nice. And I have a cupboard that I'll open up, and it'll bring me great joy, because I have many of the gifts that are on display in this cupboard. And I remember what how it was given to me, and just with the love that was given.
Well, I think it's funny that the re-gifting of things has such a negative connotation. It's almost like, oh, you cheapo, you didn't go out and spend your own money on it. And I believe things like this just have tainted things, and I think that's really what it's about. So maybe we just need to rethink it somehow, because I mean, great, you open the closet, you get this good feeling, but it's in the cupboard. What's it doing?
True. Good point.
Right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. But you're right.
There you go.
Yeah. And that's where, like, I'm liking what you're saying. Go instead of, like you say, holding on to them, hoarding it, that type of thing. Just let it go.
And remember, everything has energy.
That's what I was thinking when you were sharing that. So I'm going to rethink that. And yeah.
Good. Everybody's going to be cleaning out their closets now. Out it goes. Out it goes. Do you need this? Do you want this?
Yeah. And that is a wonderful feeling, because I did that with a lot of clothing, because mind you, it was all too big. I went down a number of sizes. And so I just passed it on to, whoever wanted it. And so it made me feel much better, right? That I didn't throw them out. They were still good clothes to wear. So anyways.
Fantastic. Great.
Yeah, the next one's one of my favorites, as you were saying, the law of attraction. So yeah, just share something about that.
This is the sexiest one. The law of attraction. And that's the one where you get what you want, and I don't want to give this a negative connotation, but I feel like it has gotten almost bad publicity, because I kind of get the feeling that people didn't really understand how it worked completely. Nobody ever really got the key. You watched all of this law of attraction stuff out there, but that was a way to get money from you. I mean, it made millions and millions of dollars when it was big, but we took out the natural law of it, and I feel like they tainted it by saying, okay, if you think about this and you put out positivity and all of this is going to come to you, that you would get everything that you want and desire in your life. And that wasn't exactly true. And it wasn't happening for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So, and it's because they didn't have the key. And the key is very, very simple. You have it before it's tangible. It is a knowing that it is yours in this present moment right now, even though you can't touch it and feel it. Because your brain and the universe, as the match or the cohesion of the ebbs and flows, doesn't know if it's real or not. It just creates. So that's the key. The key is knowing you have it. It's here. It's part of you. It's something you exist in. I heard a story one time where people say that if you want to be rich and you want to think about rich, and I always use money as the example, because is so universal, and it's got such a crazy energy about it. So it's easy to talk about and everybody can relate to. So when I say, if you're thinking rich and want to be rich and what have you, I mean, everybody has their ways of, kind of what's good enough for you, or how simple do you want to live, or that kind of thing. But if you are somebody who really wants to have a lot of equity and a lot of money and a lot of business ideas, you have to live that. You got to go out and sit in the fancy restaurants and have a coffee and talk to a lot of rich people and get their ideas and be in that atmosphere. And that's how people gain capitalism. That's how people gain their riches. Believe it or not, it's not as hard as you think if you're living in that energy. And I guess money has always been an issue for me as well. But, when you actually simply look around, and it's my relationship to money. And it's funny how I look at how money has come and gone in my life, or how it's happened. There's some real negative connotations to money throughout my life, and then good positive things. But if I presently look right here, right now, I have everything I want. I live a life I love. I do exactly what it is that I believe I should be doing in my day. And I don't need nor want for anything. If I want to go on a trip, I go on a trip. If I want to go to the grocery store, I go to the grocery store. It's just, that's really what it's about. You can be abundant and have enough if you have 50 cents in your pocket, if that's what it's worth to you. So if you can understand this about yourself and understand what your relationship to money is, then you understand the key to the law of attraction. So I hope that gives some insight to what it is. Yeah. Perfect.
Beautifully explained. Thank you. The next one is the law of perpetual transmutation of energy.
So the way I would interpret this is that how, if there is some sort of challenges or some issues or some struggles that are in your life, whether they be health issues, whether they be issues with family or what have you, you have a negative or a conversation with one of your kids and it's total disrespect, and you're sitting there going, well, that wasn't a very good conversation, and you're feeling like, ugh, I didn't really enjoy that very much. I love you, but I don't like you very much right at this point. And you are in this or you're in this feeling of what that actually kind of gave you. But you can go to the equal and exact opposite in your mind and say, I am going to make this a forgiving journey. I'm not going to feel that negativity because I don't own that. I didn't come into that conversation like that. I wasn't going to be that, but how you made me feel is my responsibility. So I'm going to transmute it into something that I can relate to. It's palatable to me. It's something that I don't have to feel so yucky about. I can just say, hey, this is what it is. And send that love and peace out there, and you will get it back one way or another. Maybe not from that person, but you'll get it from somebody else, and it'll fill you up the way it is. So it's a transmuting situation. It's definitely changing the energy in how you feel and what you vibrate and put out to the world, even if you've come upon something that wasn't so great. So there's a way. It's a practice. It's hard because you got to be really conscious and aware of how you're walking through life. It can be a challenge. So yeah. So there you go. A little bit to say about that.
Well, yeah. The next is the law of relativity.
Oh, can we skip that one? Because I think that's something that is something else, the law of relativity, or maybe tell me what you think of that.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm reading, okay? Every life obstacle is an opportunity for people to change their perspective and life so that they can continue to improve themselves. These tests from the universe also helps us learn to let go of judging events and people as good or bad, nice or mean, etc., which we do when we compare ourselves to others. Everything in the universe is just existing. And that is what the law of relativity means.
Very true. When you judge something or someone, it's actually what you don't personally like or care for in yourself. That's where the judgment comes from. So you're usually pointing at yourself when you're judging anything. You know, oh, look at how big that person is, or look at that person who is whatever. You know, it's just you can really turn it around and see it as a mirror of yourself. But I think I had already kind of talked about that in the last one, but it's funny how all of these laws flow into each other. So it almost becomes one common law in a way. You know, it's a conscious law that everybody in the world is in, no matter what. It is part of your energy. It is part of who you are. It's part of the consciousness of every single living being and thing, really. I mean, it's all part of it. So that's the great thing about natural law and universal law. You can't move it. You can't change it. It is what it is. But you can say, you can't change the law, but you can change how you react to the law. And that's this polar opposite to this polar opposite. And that's how you get what you want in life.
Wait till you hear the next one.
What's the
law
next one?
Of polarity.
That's what it's about. I mean, I think we just explained it. Remember, if you're here, you have this. Again, this is, if you're in a breakdown, a breakthrough will follow. That is a natural law. And those are the things that leave us powerful. And those are the things when you're walking through life and all of a sudden, you know, the strangest occurrences happen and the strangest coincidences happen, and you come across the craziest people at the craziest moment, and you're thinking, wow, this is not by accident. And that's how you confirm it, right? There's no way, if you're in this vibration and all of these sort of parts come into play, you have to know you are part of the energy, and you have to know that you are manifesting it. You have to know. That's the knowing part of it. So anybody who is victimized, anybody who feels like, oh, things suck and things aren't working and things are tough and why isn't this happening? And I got shit luck and all of those things. You know, your universe and your world is going to absolutely confirm that for you. It's going to confirm it. Yes. It's going to tell you, of course, that's what you're doing. And honestly, if you can just do a little bit of a pivot every day and be conscious of what you're doing, I'm telling you, it'll take a little bit of time, but things will start rolling and you'll be like, oh, I want more of that. Oh, I'm going to do more of that. Ooh. And even telling people your miracles, that's not always such a good thing either. I mean, the things that you sort of transform and manifest in your life, it's sort of personal. You kind of want people to see it in you as opposed to you telling them, this is who I am at this, you know, like it's just certain things that don't work properly or don't work well for everybody. But and these are things that I learned about myself and things that I learned about the people that I come in contact with too. I'm foremost a student, but yes, I may be a teacher, or yes, I may be a coach or a spiritual whatever it is. I mean, labels are labels, but yeah, I think it's more about understanding it all and learning. And I'm fascinated by it. Fascinated by people.
Yep. Yes. Yep. Me too.
Yeah.
So number 11 is everything in the universe. The law of rhythm. Pardon me. I was going into the explanation, but the law of rhythm.
The law of rhythm. So think about rhythm. So what happens when you dance?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I do it a lot in my kitchen. So, you know, we got to move, and actually that creates the energy. So the rhythm is when you throw a pebble into the pond, the ripple effect goes out as really a rhythm. And if you can understand that that rhythm is eventually, once it hits the shore, is going to come back to you. So doing that, you'll see people doing these crazy dances and stuff like that all the time. Well, you know, even if you look at martial arts and their movement, that's a rhythm. Everything that they're doing is a rhythm. So if you can be in the rhythm of things, then the rhythm is going to make you have a little dance in your step, and you're not going to know why. You'll be driving down the road and you'll be like smiling for no reason, you know, like that. That's being in the rhythm.
Okay. Well, I'll just share a little story because I'll dance with one puppy at a time in my hand, my arms, and I'm dancing with them, and they just get so happy, and okay, the next one. All right, come on.
See, they love it because they're in the rhythm. Sometimes if I'm having if I'm doing readings and stuff, and some of them can be quite heavy, if I have more clients throughout the day or what have you, what I'll do is I'll actually stand and I'll spin and I'll shake it off, and I'll do like spinning in circles almost to the point where I get a little bit dizzy, and it just seems to release the energy of the old and brings in the new. And I listen to the songs and I sing. My poor kid, oh my God, I sing and sing. And so yeah, I think that's what I would do with the rhythm. And the rhythm is you're putting that rhythm out, and that rhythm will flow back to you, just because that's the law as well.
I love it. All right, now this is going to be this is the last one that I've got here, and it's the law of gender. I'd be happy to tell you more about it if you'd like, or
no, that seems to be a new one to me. The law of gender.
Yes, yeah. Okay, do you want me to explain a little bit?
Is it a polarity? You are both. You are male. You are female. Does that have something to do with that?
That's okay. It. Yes. Yes, the masculine and the feminine energies within us.
Isn't that interesting? I know when I need my masculine traits, I can see in certain situations where I would see that. And I can see where I need my feminine traits. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
What do you think about that, Heather?
Well, it's interesting. Being raised by parents that encouraged us, didn't matter with my sisters or my brother, that then they taught us to be self-sufficient. And so, my strength that I have and have been able to do things like I could push a race car, for example, when I was on a pit crew, and I could use an impact gun and take the tire off of a car. And then once that was done, I could go into more of my, I guess you would say, feminine role of being, and, taking, I don't know, I would feel a lightness about myself.
Something softer or something. Yeah, I think if we can do that, do you think that's maybe when you sort of look at men have a hard time really, like if they were brought up to be manly, and they would have a hard time tapping into that feminine side of them, and that's why women have a hard time sometimes relating to men in a lot of ways. I think that's, if we're talking about gender, I think that's pretty interesting. And there is only two genders. I don't want to create any, problems here or anything like that. But again, we're talking about natural laws, right? And I want to be very careful here, because I definitely don't want to create divide, but really sometimes logic sort of just takes over, it really does in a lot of ways. But anyway, sorry, we got off topic there again. I'm always worried about saying things that will create divides. I'm worried about it. If this is going out to the world, and I want everybody to understand that as this moves on and this moves forward and we're talking more about it, you are going to see that there is parts of our personality that are just so, and it's okay. It's okay if I believe one thing. It's okay if Heather believes something else. It really is okay. And we don't have to be mad and we don't have to get angry. And, you know, we're not going to put up with any negative comments and stuff like that. It's just not going to happen. But I just want to make sure that I don't want to feel uncomfortable being authentic in what I believe in, but I also don't want to hold back either. I really want this to be an authentic show, and it's not scripted. I mean, we came on 7 minutes before we went live because we want to have a conversation. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there as a bit of a guide. I don't know if that was needed or what have you, but anyway, so yeah, so I believe that, where was I going with this?
Well, it's actually, I'll finish it off with what's said here, because I think you've explained it very, very well, Dana. It says, from the law of oneness to the law of gender, each universal law has its own meaning and purpose in the universe. When used together, harmony and balance in the universe is always constant. How does that?
Perfect.
See?
I love that. And it has to be that polarity. It has to be male, female. You know, I can't say it's good, bad, dark, light. There's always that polarity, no matter what way you look at it in the world. So I think that's really important to understand the masculine and the feminine as well. I mean, if I've done past life regressions, I've been a male, but I've been a female more. You know, so I've had more, well, past life regressions as a female than I have as a man. And it's very interesting, even when I've had these past life regressions as a man, I still related to the feminine. So I don't know if that's on a deeper cosmic level in some way, but yeah, anyway. So maybe I
can relate.
Yes.
I can. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think, you know, that's a wonderful conversation. I think we should talk about past life regressions in a show.
Yes. Yeah.
So next week we have talking about ghosts and spirits and seeing spirits and knowing we're communicating with spirits, the do's, the don'ts, you know, the wishes, the wants. We're going to have a week-long conversation about all different ways to enhance that, to train ourselves to understand it a little bit better. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. We're in the midst of creating that. And of course, Paul's going to join us on Thursday again. And we also have Mike coming on Wednesday. So excited about these guests. It's so cool. I love it.
Yes, it is. It's wonderful, Dana. Yeah, very, as a word I like to say, very exciting.
So should we close out with a card?
We'll close out with a card. So we're going to pick from Ask and It Is Given. And let's see, the first one that jumped out was, why is it taking me so long? So I think that's in relation to myself. I want to learn more. I want to know more. Why isn't it coming fast enough for me? But it is, I know that it is coming at the rate that it needs to. And the next one that jumped out is, nothing happens without my having invited it. So there we go.
That is the manifestation. And then if we can understand the ebbs and flow to the way things are, you know, we'll live a peaceful life, and we'll live a life we love, and we'll live a powerful life. And if we can do this and understand this, it's truly remarkable. So I think this is where we should let it be. And Heather, of course, always enjoyable. Please stick with me, and everyone, have a good day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and to comment on things you would like to talk about or know about. It has been awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.